Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Hey, welcome, and welcome to the show. Welcome to iHeart Intellectual Radio Black Conservative Podcast. I am your host, Alan J. Campbell, a.k.a. the Batman, who is back on the scene and back in the studio. Hey, a couple of things that I'm going to, i.e., address, okay? And let me start with a couple of things. First of all, this is going out to let me about a few weeks ago. Um, there was we had, me and the upper echelons. We had a difference of opinion about verbiage, and I'm going to address that because like an elephant never forgets. But at the same time, a lion, when he's seeking its prey, he will lie in wait for that opportunity to strike. Okay. And as you all see that I have today, tonight, I have my Gotham City Police Department shirt on. And the reason being is that because I stand for what is right, or more solely, I believe in two things. I believe in what's right and what's wrong. Nothing else. We could say good or bad, good or evil, whatever, but I stand for what's right and what's wrong. And I stand for what is right on a lot of things. And one of those things is that first and foremost, no one gets to dictate to me what I can and cannot say on my show, who I can and cannot talk about or refer or insinuate on my show. Now, if I decide to say Kamala Harris is a troglodyte, that's my opinion. You don't have to share it, but I'm not going to shy from it, and I'm not going to bite my tongue. Which, by the way, I will get into that. But I'm going to this is for the upper echelon of management, because listen, you don't get to censor me because you're not the FCC. You don't get to say what I can and cannot say. And let's be clear and this is in reference to how the note came over to me to not call black women out their names. Well, let's be clear. Kamala Harris is not black. She's not. And if you don't believe me, look it up. Wikipedia, Google. You look at her lineage, it will say, and she's even said herself, her father has said the same thing. She is Indian mixed with Irish. Her father has Irish in him. Has Irish in him. See, because he grew up, and see, Jamaica is part of France. Part France. So when we start to break this down, this is why I said what I said. She's not black. She isn't. And she never will be. The only black that Kamala Harris has ever had in her was Willie Brown. Let's be clear on that. And that is a fact. I didn't make that up. Look it up. Google it. Google Kamala Harris and Willie Brown. She was his girl. She was his side piece. She broke up the marriage. Let's be clear on that. Now, a couple of things I'm gonna get into, and just so that you know, the phone lines are open very, very early, 708-223-8953. But I wanted to start my show off with saying that nobody dictates to me on what I can and cannot say on my show. It's my content. It's my opinion. You don't have to like it or share it, but it's mine. M-I-N-E. And I will stand on that Harris is not black. Period. Now let's really dive into tonight. Let's dive into a lot of things. Okay, I'm going to get into the campaign with Trump and the rest of these troglodytes. I'm going to get into the Democratic Party, which I just briefly had a conversation with some people, and they seemed a little perplexed. I said, "Hey, I'm a conservative." Well, and then they asked the question, "Well, what is a conservative? A conservative is a person who sees things for what it is, not what they want it to be." Cannot. I don't. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a Republican, and I'm a conservative. Conservative, which something that black people were. Black people were Republicans, Republicans slash conservatives up to 1958. Do your history, do your research, and one of the things that has uh, has held us down is the ideology that the Democratic Party or the Democrats are for black people. No, they're not. They never have been. And to reiterate what Lyndon Johnson himself said in 1964-65 when he was finishing out Kennedy's term, and when he ran for re-election, and he talked to these Southern Baptist womanizing preachers and told them, if you get your congregation to vote Democrat, I guarantee you niggas will vote Democrat for the next 50 years. 1964, and here we are in 2024, and guess what? Niggas are still voting Democratic, and don't even know why. Well, the Democrats are black. Wake up. Wake up, you stupid black people. They are not. They never have been. See, when we talk about this particular word, now let's be clear. When I use the term troglodyte, I want you all to look up because believe it or not, that is an actual word and an actual species of creature. Okay. Let me give you the definition on what a troglodyte is. Okay. The word troglodyte, and this is concerning the Democratic Party, Harris included, Waltz included, Biden included, Obama included, especially Obama and Michael. The word troglodyte has multiple meanings. One, cave dweller, a person who lives in a cave or under a cliff. Troglodyte can be a prehistoric or a form antiquity. Some communities of troglodytes still exist in Tanzania and China. Okay, think about this for a minute. Think about that for a moment on how the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party and black people kind of fit that demographic, because we won't elevate ourselves. Here's the other definition. Recluse person, a person who lives alone or in seclusion. Synonyms of troglodyte in this context includes hermit or recluse. Person with old-fashioned views. Old-fashioned views. A person with outmoded or reactionary attitudes, or who behaves in a way that is not considered socially acceptable. Is that not a Democrat? Socially accepted. That's what it is. We have to think about these things in the retrospect. That's how we have to look at this. And once we start looking at things for the reality of it, we get a different perspective of things. The word, and this also part, and here's the breakdown of the Greek terminology. The word troglodyte comes from the Greek word troglo, meaning hole, and dying, meaning to dive in. This is what we have to sometimes look at and understand. This is the atmosphere that we are working in when it comes to this particular type of thing. I don't believe in democracy. I don't, because democracy is a fallacy. Democracy is a failed policy to get people to what? Conform. That's what this is. Where it stems from. Democracy. It's not. If you look at every place that the United States have gone to institute a form of what? Democracy, it has been a failed effort. Failed effort. And not only that, but they have left the community, they have left the city, left that city in ruins. Ruins. So take, for example, take the United States. When you talk about democracy, you have failed plans. When you talk about the Democrats, these are failed plans. These are not even well thought out plans. You take this individual, you take this jackass Harris. Miss I'm waiting for Merriam-Webster. I'm waiting for them to actually add this word into the dictionary. Word salad. And when they, and I guarantee and it wouldn't surprise me when you look up the word, when they put it in the dictionary, and you look up the word words, you look it up and see word salad, you're going to see a picture of giggling Kamala Harris. You're going to see a picture of her. That's the word salad. The word salad. And you just ask yourself this question: how can we continue? How can anybody in their right mind not see the setup, see this? And not only that, but she's her and Walls are so stupid they don't even see the setup move. They don't even see the setup move. They're setting this dummy, this troglodyte up to fail. And here's the thing: when the Democratic Party fails, and it will fail, she will be the one left holding the bag. Now, this is a twofold type of thing. Now, and there are a lot, and right now this is heating, and this thing is really heating up. And people are saying, "Oh, it could go either way. It could go either way. It could go either way." But the smart money, I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you all, the smart money is Trump. The smart money. I'm a betting man. Okay. Always have been. I believe in playing things close to the vest. I believe in gambling. I believe in chances. And understand something. If you never take a chance on something, the best way I can put this. Michael Jordan said it best. The shots that you the shots that you miss are the ones you never take. The shots that you miss are the ones you never take. Meaning, we have to sometimes come out of our comfort zone and look at things for the reality of it. The Democratic Party is an entity that is trying to move things to that what they call the left, because they want to continue to embrace weakness and corruption and diet and debauchery, and even to a point some levels of being diabolical. And when you label a person like Harris, like Waltz, even this peanut head mayor here in Gotham's in Chicago, he's another diabolical SOB. But I'm gonna get to him. I'm gonna get to him too. I'm gonna get to him. This is another prime example, or even better, you all. If you want to know what the country's going to look like under a Harris Walz administration, all you need to do is look at City Hall of the city of Chicago. Look at Brandon Johnson. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get total chaos. But what I like about what Trump has done, and whoever his 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 campaign manager is, whoever is running the show over there, this is absolute brilliance on what they did. They have taken little sound bites of Harris in these interviews, such as on The View, which she crashed and burned so tragically on there. It's one of the things where you watched her fall and just catch on, just burn uncontrollably. And the fact that nobody even stepped up and said, I'm not going to throw a glass of, I wouldn't put her out. I wouldn't throw a glass of water on her if she was on fire. That's how inept she is. And she went on the show and she was asked a direct question and she got stuck. She went to do a town hall for Telemundo, which is the Hispanic television station, and was asked a very direct question. A very direct question. She couldn't answer it. That's one. The second part is that she had a teleprompter actually feeding her an answer, a script, and then the teleprompter went out. I can't make this up. Look it up. Look it up. Go to YouTube, TikTok, whatever platform you have, you will see it. Type in Harris teleprompter goes out. She's standing there for at least 15 seconds trying to figure out what to say, what to do. And this is the person that touts herself as a leader. Wait a minute. And then she goes on to say, well, I'm going to, they asked her a question. And I like J.D. Vance's response. When she was asked the question, or the question was presented to J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance jumped in right on it. And they asked Harris, what are you going to do the first day in office? Well, I'm going to do this. And then Vance, sometime afterwards, when he heard this, he said, well, she's had the job for 4 years now. And so now you're saying when the election is over, should you win, you're going to start doing things. People, wake up. You're going to give somebody 8 years to do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Her entire time that she's been in office, she's only been to the border dos sakes 2 times. 2 times that she's been to the border. The photo op of her at the border, she looked like a child. She looked like a 12-year-old at the blackboard trying to figure out the problem. She's trying to figure out what's 4 plus 4 with the entire classroom looking at her. But that's how she looked. That's how she looked. Okay. Now, let's get into now. Here's another thing this is rumbling, and this is really blowing up in such a way that they have no real there's no real way of controlling this. When the media is in the West Wing, the media room of the White House, and they're hitting the press secretary with a lot of questions, she can't even answer them to the point where she'll cancel the meeting, or she'll cancel it or just walk right out of the room. When a reporter asked her, well, why wasn't the president on the ground or the vice president on the ground after Hurricane Helene? You know what the press secretary said? Well, he's doing what, presidential things. What you just saw me do was exactly what she did. And he asked her a question again. He said, well, here's the thing. And this is not, he said, well, and she went on and said, well, that's not accurate. He said, no, it is accurate because Biden was at his summer home and Harris was in Michigan doing a fundraiser while these people were going through holy hell with this Hurricane Helene. And these two were off somewhere gallivanting, doing what they do. And this is what Democrats do. This is another thing and this is the part to where look this up and see, I'm telling you to fact check the information because I look at it. I see it. I'm on the media. I'm on the news. I'm a newsie. I like to know what's going on. And when it was said that when Trump began to say that FEMA was not helping these people in the Carolinas after Helene, was he lying? When you had people coming on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever social platform, and they're saying what's happening to them, then they're talking about, and see, this is the other thing that people are upset about. See, people start thinking about what's going on. Look at the picture. Get your head out of your asses and look at what they're doing to you. They are this is the proverbial thing with black people and Democrats is this. Imagine a shepherd who is the Democratic Party, and you are the constituents. You're the sheep, and he has you in the he has you in the in he has you, and then every day he lets you out to go graze and eat of the field, or he feeds you. He lets you walk as far as the fence will allow you to go, and all the. But here's the thing: the whole time, this farmer is fattening you up. He's fattening these sheep, fattening them up, just giving them whatever they want to his benefit. Then, when the sheep, meaning you, he leads these sheep down a narrow path and into the back of a truck, or into a barn, or into another facility to be sheared and slaughtered. And then once they're slaughtered, this is what they Democrats do. They shear you, and then they shear and slaughter you and serve you up with a side of mint jelly while they profit. That is the ideology of the Democratic Party for black people. That is the ideology. When we take this and see, one of the things is that some of us have been so indoctrinated till we just sometimes we accept it. Or I've even heard people say, well, I don't like neither one of them. But let's just put it this way. If you had to make a choice, let's just say that not voting was not an option. Let's just playing the devil's advocate. Let's say that you had to vote. Would you vote for someone that you knew could do you harm, or someone that you know is going to be who you look at as a rough edge, but you know they're going to get the job done and they're going to take care of things? See, sometimes we have to look at that. Sometimes that smooth rock, that smooth, pretty rock is not what we think it is once we drop it and it cracks open and we see what's inside, opposed to that dull, rough edge rock. And sometimes, here's the thing for some of you that may not know, that sometimes that diamonds are rough edge. Diamonds don't have that shimmer and glimmering. It has to be worked on. An actual diamond is rough and dull. If you've ever seen one, it's rough and it's dull. It has very little, and it has very little color. But once you put it to work, it becomes beautiful. When we look, when we take in everything that's going on, and granted, this election is going to be probably the most, since I've been following politics, the most heated that I think any of us that any of us in our lifetime have ever seen. Truth be told, okay. This is what it's all about. But this is where we're at. Now I'm gonna jump into something else. Now, just just within the last 6 hours, a news report came across, and this comes from Fox, that there is serious that there, or as they say, there's trouble in paradise. There is such a rift between the Biden camp and the Harris camp to almost to a point they can't even be in the same room with each other. But you know, but you mofos you've been together for the last 4 years. What happened? The question was presented to Harris about how did she feel? See, how did Joe take it when how did the reporter said, well, Joe Biden feels that you all pushed him aside. And when the reporter quoted saying, you all pushed him aside, meaning these are the people that went to see Joe Biden and told him to get out of the way, nigga. George Clooney, the actor, Nancy Pelosi, and actually Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi got into a heated argument in the hallway of the White House. A heated argument to the point Pelosi stormed out of the White House. And wait for it, that other turncoat, Obama. They teamed up on him to force him to sit down. Joe didn't want to do that because see, what's going to happen is that Joe Biden's legacy is going to end as this. He's a quitter. Joe is mad. Anytime that you go on that you have dual press conferences. Kamala Harris was having a press conference while concerning the hurricane, while Joe Biden was doing the exact same thing. Kamala Harris was throwing Rick DeSantis under the bus. In the same breath, Joe Biden was praising Rick DeSantis on the job that he was doing. See, somebody mad. See, let me tell you what it boiled down to. See, this is the proverbial Thomas Jefferson, Sally Heming. See what happened? The bedwench then got too big for her britches, and now the master has to put her back in place because Joe said this in a conference yesterday. I'm the boss. He said this in the room of 12, 13, 15 people. When it was presented on Harris, well, she's out in front. Well, no, let's be clear. I am the boss. That sounds like that's really what that's what it sounds like. Think of it that way, people. Think of even another ideology. Think of it this way. This is our modern day Thomas Jefferson, Sally Heming. This is what it is. Because if you think about it, look at it. Thomas Jefferson was a white man who had slaves, and Sally Heming was the red bone, the high yellow girl in the White House with that flowing hair. And let's be clear. She didn't get that glowing skin and flowing hair naturally. There were other ingredients that were part of it. I just ain't gonna say it because there might be kids in the room. But I digress. So when you look at this, when these two, okay, so let me give you more context. These people were still recovering from Helene. 6 to 7 states were recovering. You had Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and North